Hey guys, and welcome back to the Jungle King 007 channel. It is, July? Why did I say July? It's January 3rd. It is really freaking cold out here, and my car is having troubles. This morning was going back to work, and actually went to go and start this baby up, and I had an issue. Let me just go ahead and start it up, and I can let you listen for yourselves. Here we go. I think I say, that better show it. Yeah, now it's doing it. So it is running rough. You can kind of see the motor rocking back and forth. You should be able to hear it. Let me go ahead and bring you back to the muffler. You should be able to hear a little bit better. To the trained ear, you might not notice much of a difference, but if you hear it, it sounds like a puff. The audible, really hard to describe, really, but it's a puff, and really what this is telling me is there's a misfire. Now, this white smoke you're seeing, that's probably just condensation because it is really cold out today, and it hasn't been smoking at all, really. It does burn a little bit of oil, but that's to be expected with this thing. It has over 220,000 miles on it now, but I've already diagnosed what the issue is, so let me go ahead and quickly show you what I found. I'm going to pull this spark plug wire off first. Now, if you notice, there isn't any change. Let me go ahead and pull off this one right here. Immediate. We'll let it idle back down. Now, if you noticed, there was actually no spark coming off of this. Let me do this one, and it should do the same thing. Yeah, immediate. So this right here is an indication that we have a dead cylinder. Now, what does this mean? Well, it could be ignition, obviously, anything electrical, which this actually is. This spark plug wire runs down to this coil pack, so it could be this wire, or it could be this coil pack here. Now, with this issue that I'm currently facing with that misfire, this code popped up. It's a P0340. Now, it says it's a camshaft position sensor circuit. Interesting thing with these Saturns is they do not have a camshaft position sensor. From my readings, what it's actually measuring this off of is the resistance on that module. I think that's what it is, and it will throw this code if it's something ignition related, or at least spark related, electrical related to all that stuff. Let's go ahead and shut this off so it's not hurting that cylinder much anymore. It shouldn't really. Now let's go back in front and let me show you what I found. This was actually a simple issue, and it's a simple fix here. Back in front of the car. This right here is the cylinder in question is having issues, so let's follow the wire, and it should be going down to, follow it again. It's actually shown to be this one right here. So let me pull this off real fast. Big long bolt there. And let's pull this set of plug wires off. Now, let's flip this over. Interesting thing about this is when you flip this over, this set of wires, you should be able to look inside there. This one right here is rusty and corroded. This one actually is not. That's kind of odd, because is it running to that one? Oh yeah, yes it is. It's this back one right here and running all the way to this cylinder. So I'm going to replace the spark plug wires and see if that fixes the issue. The other thing you can do, and I might do that real quick too, is swap this coil here. Swap this with this one right here. If it moves, if the issue moves from, if it's these two wires, it will run, it'll be, so these wires here came off this front coil. It looks like it's going to be this cylinder and this cylinder. If it's these two wires coming from the back one, it's going to be the two center cylinders. So what you can do, swap this coil to the back and vice versa. If the issues change cylinders, then it's going to be that coil pack. I'm going to start with the wires first. Alright, new plugs installed. Did put a little bit of dielectric grease, at least over there on the coil pack and all those. So let's start it up and see what happens. Hopefully this was a simple fix. Let's give her a run. Nope, apparently that issue is starting to rear its ugly head again. So it should be this one. Let's see if it'll still do it. Yep. Let's pull this one. Yep. Alright. So, from this quick test, this should tell us, well, this one is still dead. This one still works. I'm gonna assume these other two still work as well. Let's go ahead and pull them real fast. Actually, this one and this one are hooked to this coil. So if this coil is bad, maybe this one may not go as well. So let's do that too. Oh, look at that. The thing's only running on 2 cylinders. That thing's not running it at all. So with it running only off of these cylinders right here, that kind of points to this coil pack right here. So let's go ahead and swap these and see what happens. Just finished swapping these coils. The premise behind this is if the issue is the coil, the problem would follow the coil. So what is going on here is when we originally did this, this one and this one were not firing. So with the coil swap, that should mean that this one and this one will not fire anymore. So let's go ahead and start it up this time, pull these spark plug wires, and see what happens. All right, fire in the hole. All right, yeah, you can already start hearing it. So if what I think will happen correctly is if I pull one of these two, it should not do anything. Oh. So it is. Let's try this one. So those ones are actually firing. Let's go ahead and pull these ones. Nothing. Nothing. Interesting. Well, I thought I hit a home run. Well, turns out not so much. For some reason, when I swapped those coils, it basically did the exact same thing. it was this one and this one were not firing, but these two were. You could actually hear when I pulled the spark plug out, you hear that little click. That was actually the spark running off of the inside of the head here. So I'm not sure what to make of this. Let me do some more research. What I might do real quickly though is I do have a second coil pack here. This actually is the OE. This is the original one to this motor. That actually is a replacement. I replaced that entire coil pack probably about 20,000 miles ago. And I'm going to see if I put this one back in, see if the issue still shows. Because if it does, then I'm wondering if it's something with the wire down there. Because the wire right here, the wire loom, hooks up to the bottom. If you see it on here, right here. I'm wondering if maybe it's the wire going back to off the wire loom here. So let me, might as well, I've got it, I might as well swap that in. Well, while I'm struggling for a second and trying to figure things out, how do you guys like this light? Just picked this up from Harbor Freight. It's actually one of those, I guess they rebranded one of them. This is a Braun series, or Braun brand. And I think the previous version, if you can't tell, because my camera is likes to get out of focus. It actually died on me while I was doing this. And focus. There we go. It's actually hooked up. I think one of the original issues was this one would not, or the originals would not run with it hooked up. You actually had to charge it before you could use it. Well, this one's is hooked up and it's running. I actually like it. I'm actually pretty pleased that it's giving me pretty ample light. I think a couple of my videos that I've done before had insufficient light when I've been working on the motor here. So hopefully you like this little tidbit. I was thinking of doing a little bit of a review on it. So if you think I should, let me know in the comments. All right, well, welcome back everybody. New day, same problem. Pulled the ignition coils, and I believe this is called the DIS, or I believe it's direct ignition system, or just a PCM, just one of those onboard computers. We're going to do a test of the coils. Now, I found a little forum here that I'm also a part of, but it has one thread dedicated to the P0340, P0340, and the P0341 codes, which are the camshaft position sensor codes, which I said earlier the Saturns don't have. We're going to do a test, and one of the tests is the resistance across the towers of these coils. I don't think these are the problem, but it says here the coil packs should spec out between 8,000 and 15,000, I believe it's ohms of resistance. I'm not too versed on electronics, but we'll give it a go here. So towers here, so what does that show? Give it a good whack here. So that one's measuring at 7.2. What's this one measuring at? 7.0. So actually it says specs are 1.5 ohms, or 1.5 thousand ohms to 15,000 ohms. So that is a large spec, but I'll go with it. Let me just do this other set because these are my backup. See what they show. That is 7.2. I moved. It's all over the place, but it looks like it's holding out around 7.2, 7.3. So I guess I'm going to call those okay. The last thing that I should check before having to go into the circuitry on the car itself are the bolts. These bolts here, here's one of them. You can see it's all really rusty. Also, if you look at this one too, I got better light here. These are all rusty as well. This, if I'm not mistaken, also uses this as a ground to the motor. So with rusty bolts, that's going to pose an issue with getting a good circuit through. The issue still remains. It is still 1 and 4 that are misfiring. I believe that's, if I'm looking at the order right, it's 1 and 4. So I'm going to clean these up. I'm going to add some dielectric grease to those. I'm also going to clean these off. And then we're going to just go ahead and, this is the original, I'm going to put this back on, see if maybe it was just simply these were too corroded and not giving a good ground. Alright, those look a little bit better, all greased up. Tops of them are a little rusty, but as long as the underside of these, where they contact those leads, are clean, and those are clean, the bottom of that is clean and greased up, I think it's okay. So let's go ahead and install this. Coil packs and the module are back in. I'm using the new set of wires just in case, because the insides of the actual boots here were corroded, so giving it the best shot here. So all those are hooked up, got all those greased. Oh, let's go ahead and actually hang on a second. Put the flashlight in my mouth and hook this bad boy up. Okay, ready to go. Working blind here. Oh, there it is. Aha! Got it. Alright. So that's back on. Let's start her up. Here goes nothing. That's still not sounding good. Yeah, we're still missing. Oh. There's a bit of spark coming out of there, I think. Let's try this one. Yep. Okay, that one's back on. Let's try this one. Yeah, still nothing. And try this one. Yep. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Still that first one. Well, so we tried again. This time we replaced this piece. I don't know what's going on now. I also swapped the coils because I'm having the feeling that I didn't do that originally. May have accidentally put them back in the same place, because when I put them on this thing the first time, this was upside down. So I thought I was putting it on the same way. So maybe that was a mistake, and I've wasted a lot of time because of it. So let's start her up, see what happens. All right, here we go. There it goes. But apparently we're still angry. All right, let's go ahead and pull this one again. Oh, we got spark there. So, changing that coil did it. Let's try this one, because that should be the other coil. Oh, I got spark there too. Let's try the third one. Oh, I got spark. And might as well do the last one. Yep, got spark there as well. You can hear that hopefully it caught it on those on the mics. There's a little that fast clicking that you heard. That was the spark coming off of that. It's actually sounds like it's running normally, and it's running smooth. So I think we have determined it was this. So I'm going to call this a win. I'm glad I had one of these in stock, or not in stock. I should say in stock, because I guess if you work on cars enough, you have a parts hoard, and I guess I'm a hoarder. So this was our problem. Well, that certainly was a fun exercise in troubleshooting and narrowing down the issues in the blistering cold. Hopefully you thought this was interesting and helpful. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, whatever, throw them in the comments. I'll try to get to them as quickly as I can if I do see them. Sometimes emails and whatnot, those things that they give you to give you an indication that those are there kind of don't happen sometimes. But yeah, feel free to give me a comment if you'd like. If you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe. I'm probably going to be working on this more simply because it's got over 200 and something thousand miles. I think it's 225 now. And, you know, older vehicles, you know, stuff starts breaking on it. So more to come, but I hope not. This is Jungle King 007. See you on the next one.